Flosstube. I'm back for another video. It's been about 2 months, I think. Good to be back. My pets have some attitude today, so I'm hoping there won't be a lot of interruptions. But I want to make sure I got this video out. I'm going to go right into the cross-stitching stuff and talk about everything else after that, just in case you have a really long watch later list and you just want to see the stitching. So I'm going to start with finishes. I have had 2 finishes since I last did a video, and fairly big ones, big to me. So I finished Away We Ride from Blackbird Designs. Here we go. You've seen this one before, I'm sure. I started this one for Dark October stitching in October and finished it in January. There is a lot of onyx and garden gate from Gast in there. I think 3 full skeins of garden gate and 2 of onyx. And I fell in love with the pumpkin pie and mulberry working on this one. I loved all the colors though. It was a fun stitch, a lot of border, but I just did it in parts. And I love how it turned out. I did this on a 36 count hand-dyed fibers in bird feathers with the called for threads. And my favorite finish of all, I finally finished Angelica by Lavender and Lace. She was a labor of love. She took me 9 months, like a baby. Sorry. One of my best friends conceived a child around the time I started this, and then grew that child in her belly, labor, had the baby, everything, and then I finally finished Angelica. But yeah, I loved stitching her. She's on a 32 count charcoal gray Lugana, and it's called for threads, of course, and beads and metallics. Get that 1/1 face, very dramatic. I did that one actually 2/1/10 stitch. And those roses, so much confetti, but they're so pretty. I just loved the colors in this piece. I loved stitching it, and it really just gave me so much respect for the designer and designers in general, just what they're able to do. Especially with the faces on these lavender and lace pieces. They're so detailed, and it's just DMC. It's just different shades of peach and beige, and the whole time I'm stitching it, I'm like, what is this? It's just like a weird blob, and then you finish it and you take a picture of it and you're like, wow, it looks like a face. Yeah, so I love these angels. I'm not religious. This isn't the kind of artwork. This right here is artwork I love. I love like Renaissance style artwork. But it's not something we have hanging in our home. If I was into angels, I would have, I'd stitch all of these. I'm just not, and I'm not really someone who stitches something unless I have a finished idea of where I want it to be. Yeah, I'd stitch them all. What was I telling with it? Tracy, I think, was telling, I wish they'd take like the Clouds Factory style of the 40 women in history. I wish they'd have like lavender and lace patterns of those. I'd love to stitch all those women. But yeah, so this might be the only angel I stitch. I don't know, never say never. I always kind of love that, it's an Angel of Dreams, I think. But it's almost all white, and I don't think that'd be fun to stitch. I also love the angel, I think it's the spring one. The one Tina from Simply in Stitches is stitching, and I've seen other people stitch it. I think Running Stitch. I would maybe convert that to a light blue dress instead of light pink. So see, I've thought about it, but I do want to stitch Lady of the Thread. I don't know if that's not lavender lace, is it? Same designer though. That one I've got kitted up and ready to go. But anyway, so loved this. I think I'm going to invest the money to have it professionally framed. So I will miss stitching on Angelica, but I'm also glad that I finished her. If you have any questions about this one, let me know. Yeah, so those are my finishes. Really proud of them. I really need to get some FFOing done. I have my finishes just waiting, and like I was so excited to have them done so I can hang on my wall, and you know I haven't framed them. Maybe I'll send them to McKenna. But I can never find the right frame, it seems. Or I'll have an idea of what I want to do in my head, and then I never get around to actually doing it. When I have time, I just want to relax and stitch. But yes, if I pay to get that one framed, maybe that'll make a difference. Anyway, whips. So that was 2 of my whips. I think I had 4. And then another one I've been working on is Big Red Ship. I work on this one a little bit here and there, but I do enjoy working on it. I will show you, well, let me show you the design just in case you haven't seen it a million times. This is it. This is my working copy, so just picture this in red. And then here's a picture of where it was last time you saw it. And I worked across that top border, and here it is now. Oops, it's all folded and wrinkled. I got across the border, the top border, and then I didn't want to move the Q-snap, and I kind of wanted something different from everything I've seen already, so I just went ahead and worked on page 4. So I can say I'm on page 4, even though I still haven't done page 1 through 3. And that's almost all of page 4. I took this out of the Q-snap to show you. Obviously it's super wrinkled, and there's so much fabric, and it's kind of a stiffer fabric, so it was in the way of getting every detail on page 4 done. This is 32 count cream Charles Craft fabric, and I'm doing it in 498, which is the red, and then I decided to do that wave across in blue. That is DMC. Actually, technically I'm doing an anchor, but the DMC conversion number would be 820. The red is in DMC. I had some old 498, and I was going to use it, and then I compared the old 498 to the new 498, and it's actually not the same color, but very close. But on this piece, I think you would notice it if the shades were different. So I like that one, you know, I call that a lifer. I was working on it during the Super Bowl to Super Bowl party because I'm not cool, and people kept asking me about it, and I'd like show them the picture of the final design, and they're like, "Oh, wow!" Like, you're never gonna finish that, but I am. Okay, and then the 4th whip was Tapestry by Ink Circles. This came out at Nashville last year. I'm already coveting some patterns for this year. But, yeah. Tapestry by Ink Circles. Love this. I'm sure you've seen others stitch this. Like, Rebecca from Hedgerow Stitching is working on this. That's the final design. I'll show you a picture where it was last time you saw it. I hadn't worked on this one for maybe 6 months because I was working on Angelica and Maybe Ride and the baby shower patterns, so it was nice to pull this out again. And I had been working, you would have seen the center, it's kind of like a mandala, but it filled the 11 by 11 Q-snap, so I decided I would now work page by page. So I finished page 1, and here's where it is now. By the time I finished page 1, I was a little burnt out because some of these, I like often go color by color. I try to not do it too much on this, but I did. Yeah, I did. And so some of the motifs, you know, you're duplicating them. So I found this isn't one I could just sit and do from beginning to end. Kind of had to change it up. But I already feel like I could go do page 2 now. So it's kind of like 2.5 pages across. So it's 6 pages, but 3 and 6 are kind of half pages. So I'd say I'm a third way. No, more than, yeah, about third way. I don't know. Enjoying it. I like it. I just love the threads. I love the colors. These are all the called for threads. The fabric is 32 count natural light Witchell linen. So those are my whips, and then I had a couple new starts. I'm not usually a Sal person unless it's like right up my alley or it's something that I really want to stitch at that time anyway. But both of these are for Sal's, just how it worked out. So Heather Stitches has a freebie February sale going on that you probably heard of. I will link the Facebook group down below. It's awesome. She did a great job setting up the Facebook group. You will find so many links to sites that have freebies, legit freebies in there. There's like a group album and logos from different designers, and each one has a link and you can go and get their freebies, and there's a document in there with a bunch of links that people have suggested, and I spent way too much time downloading freebies, but it's fun. Even if you're not going to join the style, I encourage you to join that group and shop in the freebies. So I didn't know which one I was going to stitch going in, and I spent so much energy trying to decide on that. It was like I was choosing a bridal gown or something. And in the end I decided on a Teresa Wensler bookmark. I think it's like Colonial Knots or something. And as a Teresa Wensler, technically she designed it, but it's not what you would imagine for Teresa Wensler. It's like choose your own colors, 3 colors, and then it's kind of like interweaving knots. Looks really cool. And I picked out my threads, and it has a lot of fractional stitches, which I don't really have a lot of experience with, but it seems simple enough. So I was going along on it, and then I realized I was 1 stitch off somewhere, and I had to frog the whole thing and start over. So I did that, and it happened again. I was off somewhere and had to frog the whole thing. So finally I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something else. I want a bookmark. I want a nice stitch bookmark. So so then in the end I decided what I would do was take some of the motifs from Box of Delights from Blackwork Journey, Elizabeth Almond, and take some of those delights and make them into a bookmark, and just pick which ones I liked as I go. So that's what I've been doing. I've got 2 so far. This is a, what do you want to call it, sparkly fabric. You can't really tell. And then the outside is 550 DMC, and the inside is Court Jester. It's a cotton from Fiberlicious. It's been fun to work with. I love the colors in that floss, and I never knew what I was going to use it for, so I've been having fun. And then I guess I'll add, like, I don't know, I guess maybe 3 more. So I've been doing that for freebie February. That's fun. Black work. And then Springfield Stitcher Heather and Chris from Crisscross Stitcher, I'll link them both below, but I'm sure you guys know who they are. They are 2 of my biggest enablers. They have amazing taste, and by amazing I mean my taste. And they are always like, they always have good hauls, and I'm always like coveting their patterns. They both love Plum Street samplers, and they are doing a little Plum Street sampler sale for Harvest Keeper. It's a super cute pattern with like beehives. I don't have it though, which is horrifying, I know. And I'm doing Stitch from Stash, and I'm trying really hard to be good. So they were pushing me to stitch that with them, but I weaseled my way in by saying, how about if I did a different Plum Street sampler harvest piece, because I have harvest delivery and I've been wanting to stitch that, and so they let me in. Very gracious. And so I have been working on that lately. Hold on, let me find you the design. That, sorry for the glare, is Harvest Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. I'm doing this on a 36 count from Hand Dyed Fibers. Let me find the name real quick. Yellow Spice is the fabric. Let me tighten it on the key snap. I'm going to leave this on the key snap because all the stitched area is in there. That's where I'm at now. Needle minders from Delicious Threads. Yeah, so just filling up the wagon, and then eventually when that's all filled up, I'll work on the horse. It's just going to be a lot of one color. Hopefully that doesn't get too boring, but I'll get through it. Yeah, lots of pretty colors again. I'm doing this in the Called For Gentle Arts. and I like it. So yeah, so thank you ladies for letting me join in the fun. I want to maybe do spring delivery after that. We'll see. But I have spring delivery and harvest delivery. And they have Halloween delivery, but I don't think it's like a winter or summer. Anyway, so those are all of my cross stitch projects. Next I'm going to do haul. Can't do Oprah haul because stitching from stash means less haul. But still haul nonetheless. Haul is haul, people. So in December, before I started Stitch from Stash, Snowflower Diaries had a sale on their patterns, 40% off, and they have really cute patterns, and I was really thankful that even though I didn't finish the year-long sale, the Joyful World sale, I thought it was very generous that she offered that up to us for free. It's beautiful design. Sorry, Stephanie. And so I bought 3 patterns. Super cute. They're digital patterns, so I will insert pictures of all 3 here. Aren't those cute? They're smaller. I really want to do the Elsie one. I want to call her Elsie. No, Elise. The Elise one fairly soon. I think that's really cute. It's just like 2 Gast and DMC. But yeah, so I got those. And then for in January, I bought one thing, and that was a magazine. So last year, at some point, I had gotten a hold, I went to a garage sale and I gotten some secondhand haul there for like 25 bucks. I got several boxes of magazines and some books. And within those magazines there was issues 1 through 8, I believe, of New Stitches, Mary Hickmott's New Stitches, which was a UK magazine. It's not in print anymore. And I love that magazine. It's amazing. I wish I had all of the issues. But I don't, and they're not usually very cheap on eBay. But I found one for 5 bucks that I'd really been wanting. This is number 16. You can probably see why. That's Queen Elizabeth on the cover there. And that's the cross-stitch version of the pattern, but the one I want to do is the black work. So they have the black work and the cross-stitch version of the chart. So this is the one I want to do right here. And I'm hoping to start that not too far from now. Not too long from now. I already had the one with Henry. That's this one. Black work and cross stitch. And that one's pretty fantastic too, and I'm hoping to stitch that one as well. But Elizabeth's kind of my top priority. That's the cover of that one. That's issue number 6. And then I also have Anne Boleyn and Catherine of Aragon. And there's also the rest of his wives out there, and then there's Mary, Queen of Scots. So hopefully over time, I'm hoping the Fates will let me get those for a good price. So that was my only purchase in January. And then February, I think, yeah, I have to double check my numbers. I'm doing the Stitch from Stash group, and I have my budget set at max, of course, because it's me. Yeah, so I give them my numbers at the end of the month, and they very kindly enter them in the spreadsheet. Anyway, so this month I bought another Mary Hickmott magazine. I managed to get this one for $1. This is number 73. And I bought this one for another blackwork piece. That is Victorian Elegance. I thought she could pass maybe for a Queen Victoria, since there's not a Queen Victoria pattern. And I just thought that one was beautiful as well. So those are my Stitchy haul. And then I was just at an estate sale on Friday. Yeah, last week. For those of you that aren't in the U.S. or maybe are in the U.S. don't know what an estate sale is, it's like a garage sale, but it's the whole house. Usually it'll be someone has passed away, or maybe they moved into like a nursing home, and the family usually will hire a company to sell everything in their house, everything that they didn't keep themselves. So you kind of go through the person's house, and things are priced to sell. And professionals usually do it because, you know, there might be vintage items that need to be researched, stuff like that. This one was really cool. It was a lady who had owned an antique shop, but things were priced pretty highly. So I did find a couple stitchy pieces that I picked up. This one, I don't know how old this is. It's on linen, and those are not very good stitches. But I think it was a stamped piece, but I just couldn't walk away. I thought it was cute, and I don't know. I knew there was some history to it. It's old. And then I found this needlework piece that was just so pretty. It obviously needs cleaning up. That's another old piece, but no date. So, yeah, I was happy to find those. And it's not stitchy related, but my, let me show you what my sister got me for Christmas. There's this artist on Etsy that I love, and it's called Black Apple Art, and the lady who does it, her name is Emily Winfield Martin, and I've had this on my wish list for years, and I couldn't buy it. I just couldn't buy it for myself for some reason. I don't know why. But my sister and her boyfriend got it for me for Christmas. Yeah, I think I just love this piece. I think this is like what my life should have been if the world was a little more whimsical. That's me in a banjo and talking to the field cat and whatnot. Yeah, so I thought this was really cute. I've bought a couple of her children's books as baby shower gifts before. She's a great artist. I'll link her Etsy shop below. She's got just very cute, whimsical pieces. So, just wanted to show you guys that one as my haul. So, that covers purchases. Moving on, I am, okay, so I registered for the Flosstube retreat, North America Flosstube retreat yesterday. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet some of you guys in person finally. If you haven't heard about it yet, it's in Austin, Texas, October 6th through 8th. Julicious is the one putting it together. So awesome. I will link her like announcement video below and the Facebook group below. And I can't wait to meet my fellow Flosstubers, and it's going to be awesome. I'm already excited. It's not till October, so now I have to wait, but I'm just going to try to forget about it until it gets closer. I haven't booked my hotel or flight yet. Jen from Delicious Threads, thank you. She's the one that convinced me to go. And then I went and bugged Emily C. Because Letitia had already laid the groundwork there. And we convinced her to go too. So it's very exciting. And a bunch of other people that I can't wait to meet. Anyway, I hope you guys consider going. It should be a lot of fun. And again, yeah, try not to think about it. What else? Oh, I had notes. I forgot. Oh, doing a meetup. Us Northern California ladies, the ones who can make it, are going to be at Needle in a Haystack on Saturday, February 25th. That's this Saturday. I can't wait. Becky from Obsessed Stitcher is going to be there. Annette from Annette's Acre. Maddie and Michelle from on Instagram. I know they'll be there. Rose isn't sure. Rose Chin. Jen is not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. But if anyone else is in the area and wants to go, I hope you'll meet us there. Be shopping and chatting and maybe stitching. And, books. Books. One second. Okay, books. Last time I told you that I was going to be reading a nonfiction book, and it would probably take me a while. Well, it did, but it was really good. It's a history book. It's called Foundation, The History of England from its Earliest Beginnings to the Tudors by Peter Ackroyd. This is a first volume, and I think there's 4 volumes. The next one's the Tudors. Woohoo! And this is like a very broad overview of what it says. English history, the beginnings. Very broad overview because it's only like 450 pages and it covers hundreds and hundreds of years. But I thought it was really interesting. I'm a huge fan of historical fiction that takes place in Britain, and you know, period pieces and so many things that are like fictional retellings that are, you know, close, but have a lot of accurate history in them. I also love watching British documentaries on like the monarchy and stuff like that. So I thought it was time to actually sit down and read a book about the history in order. And I mean, yeah, it was really interesting. I thought it was really well written, and I learned a lot. And I hope I remember some of it. So I liked this book. Sometimes I wish that they would like do a marathon of all my favorite like British miniseries, but do them like in historical order. I feel like I would learn more that way. After reading this, I rewatched The Last Kingdom. I don't know if you guys have seen that on Netflix. That's a good one. Anyway, so yeah, Foundation. While I was reading that, I took some breaks. I read, during one of those breaks, I read a book from my library. It's, I'm sure you've heard it, it's pretty famous, but it's called Between the World and Me, by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And this is a kind of an essay. It's not a long book. It's less than 200 pages. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, it's basically like a letter to his son about his experience being a black man in America. And it is powerful and it is so eloquent. I highly recommend it. I learned a lot. I gained so much new perspective. I am sure I will read it again in the future, and I will continue to recommend it to people. I highly recommend you pick up that book if that's something that interests you. And then after that book, I read, I just finished this today actually, Persuasion. This was a reread, but I read it years ago. And so I picked it up again, and I love it. It's Jane Austen. I just felt like I needed a little romance in my life. So yeah, I loved rereading this, and I feel like there was some more in there. I finished the Queen of the Tyrline series. That's like a YA fantasy, and it was good. It was entertaining. I read all 3, so if I read all 3, then that's usually a sign that I wanted to know how the story went, so that was good. I got those from the library. And I read a book called The Invisible Library, which is a fantasy like written for adults, not for teenagers. So it had my brain working more, but it was good. It was good. It was just like more than I usually go for in fantasy. A lot more world building than I'm usually into. There was like steampunk in there and all kinds of stuff. I like, when I read fantasy, I like more like the ones that are like epic sagas with characters, really fully developed characters, and I'm more into character before world building, so I like Patrick Rothfuss and George R.R. Martin and those kind of fantasy books, but it wasn't bad. But those were the main ones I want to talk about, and now I get to decide what to read next, which is always fun. Oh, will you guys add me on Goodreads? I love finding people on Goodreads because I like to see their updates and see what they thought of books and what they're reading, that kind of thing. I can't promise you that you're going to be entertained by my Goodreads feed. I seem to give everything 4 stars. And I don't write the reviews on there. I don't have it here, but I keep a reading journal, like on paper, so I don't usually write reviews on Goodreads. Because I guess I feel more comfortable writing about it when I know no one's going to see it. So I'm not the most entertaining person to follow on Goodreads, but I like having contacts on Goodreads because it just gives me a more personalized look at what's new, what's out there, what people are interested in. But I have a hard time searching for people on there. So I'm going to put my profile in the description, and if you're on Goodreads and want to be Goodreads pals, go ahead and add me. Life stuff. I got a new job. I am so excited. I have been working in the same job for the last 9 years. My company's had some hard times lately, and my job security isn't the greatest. So I thought it was time to look for a new job, and I got one. I'm going to be an executive assistant slash office manager in a downtown Oakland office, working for a solar company. And yeah, it's exciting. I have been working at home now for like 5 years, and you know, I'm having longer and longer conversations with my dog. So I think it's inevitable. It's time. I got to get out of the house again. So I'm looking forward to working around people again. You know, I've said before I have anxiety, and I'm also like, you know, I'm an introvert. I also deal well with when I'm focused, and but so working from home has been nice in that. But it can also be kind of enabling for someone like me. You know, it's I'll take any excuse to sit around the house. So working at home, you know, I need to get out more. I need to push myself. So this will be a push, and just like the retreat, you know, I haven't traveled much in the last few years because I get really bad travel anxiety. But I know that if I don't go to the retreat, if I miss out on it because of that, then I will regret it. So same thing with the job. I think it's time to work outside of the house. I think I regret it if I didn't take the opportunity. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how it'll affect my stitchy time. Probably a little bit, but I don't stitch during work now, but I don't have a commute, so that gives me a little extra time in the evenings. I'll be on public transportation on BART. I won't be stitching on BART. I could just feel like the fabric will just absorb the stench and germs that are BART. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. That starts next week. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. And keep it classy, Flosstube. Talk to you later. Bye.